The expense report approval notification hit my phone at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, bearing my digital signature on charges I'd never seen before. I'm Thornton Montgomery, 42, E-Discovery Counsel at one of Raleigh's fastest-growing litigation practices. For 8 years, I'd built my reputation on methodical case management and ironclad document control. Nothing slipped past my review protocols. The notification showed $47,000 in consulting fees approved under my authority. The timestamp read 9:15 p.m. I'd been home since 6, reviewing discovery motions for the Henderson Pharmaceutical case. My laptop hadn't left my kitchen table. I pulled up our firm's expense management portal on my phone. The entry showed my digital signature, clear as daylight, authorization code TM2847. My personal access code that only I knew. The consulting firm listed was Meridian Strategic Solutions. I'd never heard of them. The invoice description read, Litigation Support Services, Henderson Matter. Our Henderson case used only internal resources and one established vendor I'd personally vetted. My hands steadied as I scrolled through the approval chain. The request originated from Clayton Princeton, our managing partner. Standard procedure required my sign-off on any discovery-related expenses over $25,000. The system showed I'd approved it electronically at 9:15 p.m. I checked my phone's location history. At 9:15 p.m. I was at home, 40 minutes from the office, no VPN connection logged on my devices. The Henderson case files sat locked in my office safe. Only 3 people had access codes, myself, Clayton, and our senior paralegal Josephine Princeton. The case involved proprietary pharmaceutical formulations worth $200 million. Every document required dual authorization. I opened my laptop and accessed the firm's case management system. The Henderson matter showed unusual activity patterns. Document access logs revealed multiple late-night entries under my credentials. Timestamps spanning the last 6 weeks, all outside my actual working hours. Someone had been using my digital identity to approve expenses and access confidential case files. The pattern suggested systematic infiltration, not random fraud. My phone buzzed with another notification, a second expense report, this one for $23,500. Same vendor, same bogus consulting services. Same impossible timestamp showing my approval 15 minutes ago. I was still staring at my phone in my kitchen, wearing pajamas. The realization hit like ice water. Someone inside our firm had compromised my digital credentials and was systematically looting client accounts. They'd been doing it for weeks, maybe months, using my authorization to legitimize fraudulent expenses. I grabbed my car keys and headed for the office, knowing that by morning this discovery would either save our practice or destroy everything I'd built. The drive to our Raleigh office took 12 minutes through empty streets. I'd made this trip countless times over the past 8 years, but never with my stomach churning like this. The firm's glass facade reflected my headlights as I pulled into the parking garage. Clayton Princeton had recruited me from a mid-sized Charlotte practice in 2016. He'd promised partnership track, cutting-edge technology, and the chance to build something significant in North Carolina's legal market. The firm had grown from 12 attorneys to 43 in that time. We'd structured our internal knowledge-sharing meetings together every Tuesday morning. Clayton would review major case developments while I presented discovery strategies and technology updates. Those sessions built the foundation of our professional relationship. I trusted him completely. The elevator climbed to the 7th floor in silence. My keycard granted access to the darkened hallway. Emergency lighting cast long shadows across the reception area where Josephine Princeton normally managed our client intake process. My office door stood slightly ajar. I always locked it before leaving. Inside, my computer monitor glowed with an active session. The case management system displayed the Henderson Pharmaceutical files, opened under my credentials. The timestamp showed continuous access since 8:30 p.m. Someone had been here, working under my digital identity for the past 3 hours. I checked the physical safe behind my desk. The combination lock showed no signs of tampering, but the Henderson files were Slightly out of order, someone with access codes had been through these documents recently. The security camera system required administrative privileges to review footage. I logged into the firm's network and navigated to the surveillance interface. The 7th floor cameras showed my office door opening at 8:25 p.m. Clayton Princeton entered using his master keycard. The footage revealed him settling at my desk, logging into my computer with apparent ease. He'd accessed the Henderson files, photographed several documents with his phone, then opened the expense management system. I watched him create the fraudulent consulting invoices, using my stored digital signature to approve each transaction. His movements were methodical, practiced. This wasn't his first time. The video timeline showed similar late-night visits stretching back 12 weeks. Always the same pattern. Access my office, review confidential case files, generate false expenses, approve them under my credentials. My phone buzzed with a text message from Clayton. Emergency partner meeting tomorrow, 7 a.m. Henderson case complications. Need your input on discovery budget overruns. He was setting me up to take responsibility for the fraudulent expenses he'd created. I spent the next 4 hours documenting everything. Screenshots of the false invoices, video timestamps, access logs, and financial records. The pattern revealed systematic theft totaling $847,000 across 6 major cases. Clayton had been using my digital signature to approve consulting fees for non-existent services. The money flowed to shell companies registered in Delaware and Nevada. Each transaction stayed below the $50,000 threshold requiring board approval. The Henderson case represented his most ambitious theft yet. 3 separate invoices totaling $127,500, all approved under my credentials while I was provably elsewhere. Dawn broke over Raleigh as I compiled the evidence into a secure folder. The firm's other partners would arrive within 2 hours for Clayton's emergency meeting. He planned to blame me for the missing funds, using the digital trail he'd carefully constructed. But I had something he didn't expect: video proof of his late-night office visits, and the complete financial paper trail showing his shell company connections. My phone rang at 6:45 a.m. Clayton's name appeared on the screen. "Thornton, glad you're up early. We need to discuss some serious irregularities in your expense approvals before the meeting. Can you come in now?" I looked at the evidence folder on my desk, then at the security footage still playing on my monitor. Clayton Princeton, my trusted partner and mentor, walking into my office to steal from our clients using my identity. "I'm already here," I said. "We definitely need to talk." Clayton arrived at 6:52 a.m., coffee in hand, wearing his usual confident smile. He knocked twice on my office door before entering. "Morning, Thornton. Thanks for coming in early. We have a real problem with the Henderson case expenses." I gestured to the chair across from my desk. The security footage was paused on my monitor, showing him clearly entering my office 3 nights ago. "Yes, we do have a problem, but not the one you're planning to discuss." His expression shifted slightly. The practiced smile remained, but his eyes moved to my computer screen. "I'm not sure what you mean. The expense reports show your digital signature on several questionable invoices. The other partners are concerned about the $847,000 you've stolen using my credentials over the past 12 weeks? Clayton's coffee cup stopped halfway to his lips. The silence stretched between us for 15 seconds. "That's a serious accusation, Thornton. I hope you have substantial evidence before making such claims." I turned my monitor toward him. The security footage showed him accessing my computer, typing rapidly, then leaving with a satisfied expression. 12 separate visits. Always between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. Always the same pattern. Access my office. Review case files. Generate false expense reports. Approve them using my stolen digital signature. Clayton set down his coffee cup with deliberate care, his mentor facade cracked completely. "You don't understand the financial pressures this firm faces. The expansion costs, the new hires, the technology upgrades. Sometimes leadership requires difficult decisions. Leadership doesn't require stealing from clients and framing partners." I opened the evidence folder on my desk. bank records, shell company registrations, invoice timestamps, and video documentation spread across the surface. 3 shell companies in Delaware and Nevada, all registered to variations of your name. The consulting fees flow directly to accounts you control. Each transaction carefully structured below the $50,000 board approval threshold. Clayton's hands trembled slightly as he reached for the documents. His breathing became shallow and rapid. The Henderson case alone shows $127,500 in fraudulent charges, all approved under my credentials while I was in depositions with witnesses who can verify my location. Thornton, we can work this out. The firm doesn't need this kind of scandal. Think about our reputation, our clients, our employees. I am thinking about them. That's why I'm calling the Office of Bar Investigations at 8 a.m. Clayton stood abruptly, knocking over his coffee cup. The dark liquid spread across my desk, soaking several evidence documents. You're making a mistake. I built this firm from nothing. I gave you opportunities, mentored your career, trusted you with major cases. This is how you repay that loyalty? By exposing theft and fraud? Yes, that's exactly how I repay it. The other partners began arriving for the 7 a.m. meeting. Voices echoed from the conference room down the hall. Clayton glanced toward the door, calculating his options. If you proceed with this, you'll destroy everything we've built together. The firm will collapse. Dozens of employees will lose their jobs. Our clients will suffer. The firm will survive. It has to, for the sake of everyone you've betrayed. At 7:15 a.m., I walked into the conference room carrying the evidence folder. 5 partners sat around the mahogany table, reviewing agenda items for the Henderson case discussion. Before we begin, I announced, there's something everyone needs to see. I distributed copies of the financial records, security footage, screenshots, and shell company documentation. The room fell silent as each partner absorbed the evidence. Josephine Princeton, our litigation director, spoke first. These invoices show systematic fraud spanning multiple cases. The digital signatures are clearly forged. Clayton entered the room 2 minutes later, his usual confidence replaced by visible anxiety. He surveyed the evidence spread across the table and the grim expressions of his partners. I can explain everything. The financial pressures, the expansion costs, the need for additional capital. By stealing from clients? Josephine's voice cut through his explanation. By framing Thornton for your crimes? The confrontation lasted 47 minutes. Clayton alternated between denial, justification, and desperate bargaining. He offered to repay the stolen funds, resign quietly, and disappear without damaging the firm's reputation. The partners voted unanimously to terminate his partnership immediately and report the theft to appropriate authorities. At 9:23 a.m., I placed the call to the Office of Bar Investigations. White-collar case coordinator Jonah Friedman answered on the second ring. Mr. Friedman, this is Thornton Montgomery at a law firm in Raleigh. I need to report systematic client fund theft and digital signature fraud committed by our managing partner. The investigation moved swiftly. Friedman arrived that afternoon with 2 investigators and a forensic accountant. They seized Clayton's computer, financial records, and access logs from our case management system. Clayton hired criminal defense counsel within 24 hours. His attorney negotiated a cooperation agreement requiring full restitution and detailed confession in exchange for reduced charges. The bar complaint hearing occurred 6 weeks later. Clayton faced charges of theft of client funds, fraudulent billing practices, and professional misconduct. The evidence was overwhelming. Video footage, financial records, digital forensics, and his own confession. The disciplinary panel imposed permanent disbarment and ordered complete restitution to affected clients. Criminal charges followed: felony theft, computer fraud, and identity theft. Clayton received 18 months in federal prison and 5 years probation. Our firm survived the scandal through transparent communication with clients and aggressive damage control. We hired an independent auditor, implemented new financial controls, and restructured our partnership agreement. Josephine Princeton assumed managing partner responsibilities. Her first decision was promoting me to senior partner with oversight of all financial operations. 3 months after Clayton's sentencing, our client base had actually grown. The legal community respected our handling of the crisis and our commitment to ethical practice. The Henderson case concluded successfully with a $2.3 million settlement. Our client received full compensation plus additional damages for the delays caused by Clayton's theft. I testified in 2 related cases where other firms discovered similar fraudulent schemes. My experience with digital forensics and financial investigation proved valuable in exposing attorney misconduct. The final piece of justice came when Clayton's shell companies were dissolved and their assets distributed to his victims. Every stolen dollar was recovered and returned to the appropriate client accounts. Standing in my new corner office 6 months later, I reviewed the security protocols we'd implemented: multi-factor authentication, video monitoring, and mandatory partner approval for all expenses above $5,000. The betrayal had cost us a partnership, damaged relationships, and created months of legal complications. But it also revealed the strength of our remaining team and our commitment to ethical practice. Justice had been served through proper legal channels, and our firm emerged stronger than before. 12 months after Clayton Princeton's sentencing, I stood in the conference room of Montgomery and Associates, my own practice established in downtown Raleigh. The morning sun streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the state capitol building. My phone buzzed with another consultation request. Word had spread through the legal community about my expertise in financial fraud investigations and attorney misconduct cases. What started as survival had become specialization. The irony wasn't lost on me. Clayton's betrayal had destroyed one career path but created another. I now consulted with law firms across North Carolina, helping them identify vulnerabilities in their financial systems and investigate suspected misconduct. My assistant knocked and entered. "Mr. Montgomery," the state bar called. "They want you to review another case involving fraudulent expense reports." I nodded. "Schedule it for next week." 3 associates worked under my supervision, all former colleagues who'd left larger firms seeking ethical leadership. We'd built something different here: transparency, accountability, and genuine partnership. The Henderson settlement had provided seed money for this venture. Our former clients followed us, trusting the team that had exposed the fraud rather than hidden it. Several new clients specifically sought us out because of our reputation for integrity. Josephine Princeton called monthly with updates from our former firm. They'd thrived under her leadership, implementing the security protocols we'd developed together. She'd been promoted to managing partner permanently, earning recognition from the North Carolina Bar Association for ethical leadership. Clayton Princeton remained in federal prison. His appeals had been denied, and his disbarment was final. The shell companies were dissolved, their assets distributed to victims. Every stolen dollar had been recovered and returned. I kept his confession letter in my desk drawer, not as a trophy but as a reminder. Trust required verification. Friendship couldn't override fiduciary duty. The most dangerous betrayals came from those closest to us. My computer chimed with an email from the Office of Bar Investigations. Another firm needed assistance with a complex financial fraud case. I assess email risk exposure in firm-wide betrayal probes. The work was challenging but necessary. Each investigation helped protect clients and preserve the integrity of our profession. The legal community was slowly learning that transparency and accountability weren't weaknesses but strengths. Standing at my window, I watched attorneys hurrying to court appearances and client meetings. Some carried the weight of ethical compromises. Others maintained the standards our profession demanded. Clayton's betrayal had taught me that justice wasn't just about winning cases or maximizing profits. It was about protecting the trust clients placed in us and maintaining the integrity that made our profession possible. The silence in my office felt different now. Not the oppressive quiet of hidden secrets, but the peaceful calm of honest work completed. No more suspicious emails, altered documents, or fraudulent charges. No more wondering if my partner was stealing from our clients. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned. you.